Reema Hassan is not just any person. She is a member of the European Parliament. She is a French national from the France and Unbowed Party, Mélenchon's party, and a fucking, diplomat, okay? She is a member of the European Parliament, and Israel currently has her locked in solitary confinement. Think about how fucking insane that is. By the way, Reema Hassan's unlawful detention in Israeli prison also plays a big role in this, at least for the French side of the conversation. The silence of EU institutions over the unlawful detention and punitive conditions imposed on EU citizens, including MEP Reema Hassan, speaks volumes to the deep roots of Israelism and European institutional culture. Reema, French-Palestinian member of the European Parliament and refugee from 1948, now stands before an Israeli court in Al-Ramleh. She joined the Madleen flotilla, carrying symbolic aid to Gaza, her second attempt to return to her homeland. Israel offered her deportation and a 100-year ban. She refused to sign. She chose prison over submission. Reema is not just resisting, she's teaching us the true meaning of dignity, steadfastness, and the right of return. You need to understand something here, by the way. Reema Hassan is currently in an Israeli prison. Reema Hassan is not just any person. She is a member of the European Parliament. She is a French national from the France and Unbowed Party, Mélenchon's party, and a fucking, diplomat, okay? She is a member of the European Parliament, and Israel currently has her locked in solitary confinement. Think about how fucking insane that is. She was a part of the Gaza Freedom Flotilla. She was on the ship Madleen. As you guys know, Greta Thunberg left and went back to Sweden. They sent her back to Sweden. And those who refused to sign a piece of paper that basically stated that they were actually trying to illegally enter the country of Israel, because that's not what they were doing, by the way. That's not what they were doing. But Israel wanted them to sign this piece of paper, have been arrested. I'm on the Telegram channel. They took her out of solitary and back to Givon, but Tiago Avila remains in solitary. I don't know if Greta actually signed anything. I'm just simply saying that that's what they were trying to get them to do. And for the record, the boat, Madleen, was not seized, apprehended, or intercepted off of the Israeli coastline. The boat that had the British flag, sailing the British flag, the UK flag, was seized off of the coast of Egypt. So Israel, once again, violated international sovereignty. Israel violated the sovereignty of the UK, and Israel violated the sovereignty of Egypt on international waters off the coastline of Egypt. An act of piracy. An actual kidnapping.
To Charles de Gaulle Airport, where Greta Thunberg is speaking.
Here was Greta Thunberg's response after being released.
To reporters. Let's take a listen to
from
what she has.
and being deported from Israel.
Yeah, on international waters, we were illegally attacked and kidnapped by Israel and taken against our will to Israel, where we were detained, and then some of us deported. Some are still there. There are very big uncertainties because it was quite chaotic and uncertain. So I don't really know what's going on. I haven't had a phone for many days, and
What were the conditions for you over the last few hours?
They were absolutely nothing compared to what people are going through in Palestine, especially Gaza right now. And this is yet another international a violation of international right, adding to the list of countless of such, especially towards Palestinians, that Israel are committing by blocking and preventing humanitarian aid from entering Gaza. That is illegal.
How did the Israelis treat you We saw them giving out sandwiches on their social media. How did
Yeah, they probably have posted lots of PR stunt videos. As I said, I have not seen anything. But they did an illegal act by kidnapping us on international waters and against our will, bringing us to Israel, keeping us in the bottom of the boat, not letting us getting out and so on. But that is not the real story here. The real story is that there is a genocide going on in Gaza and a systematic starvation following the siege and blockade now, which is leading to food, medicine, water that are desperately needed to get into Gaza is prevented from doing so. But of course, there are many attempts like this mission, both by sea and land, to break that siege and open up a humanitarian corridor.
Could I ask you, did you have, you said you had no contact at all with any of your other colleagues from the boat when you were detained? Is that what you said?
No, that's not what I said. I was just mainly speaking. I don't really know what's going on because
you don't know what's going on with the others?
Are you worried
no,
about...
I wasn't able to say goodbye.
Are you worried about the others, that they might be detained for...
Yeah, I'm very worried about them. We heard many different messages pointing towards that they would not make it easy. And there were troubles with being able to see lawyers. So I'm very much calling for their immediate release and calling for everyone who can to mobilize to their governments and other ways to demand their immediate release. And of course to demand not only humanitarian aid being let into Gaza, but also a ceasefire, but most importantly an end to the occupation and an end to the systemic oppression and violence that Palestinians are facing on an everyday basis.
Are you disappointed?
I think it's fucking insane the reaction that Greta creates amongst people who are like not fully on board with the Palestinian emancipatory movement, but simply are like aesthetically defending it, or are fully on board with defending Israel. Like the way that people talk about her is so, it's like alarming. Okay. Yeah. Okay. She was cringe when she was a fucking baby. Okay. Sure. Who gives a shit? Like, I don't understand why people have this kind of insane response. I don't know what it is. It's like a visceral reaction to a child, okay? She was propped up by a lot of liberal institutions when she was an advocate for environmental justice, for climate justice, okay? And I think that calcified resentment towards her by a lot of people, because these guys never stopped talking about her in really gross ways, like fantasizing about her being like violently raped or killed or whatever when she was like 16. Okay? She was like 16 speaking at these conferences, and people would lose their minds. Like I remember vividly Steven Crowder and all these other like conservative commentary people like would make insane rape threats and stuff like that against her. And then she came out as being anti-capitalist a couple years ago, and the media basically, like liberal institutions, basically stopped covering her altogether or even defending her a little bit. When they no longer could use her as an advocate for climate justice, but from a liberal framework. And now that she is also openly anti-imperialist, openly anti-Israel, openly pro-Palestinian, pro-Palestine at the age of 22, all of the fucking interest groups and virtually everyone, just like there's so much resentment towards her. Even when she does something that's incredibly brave, right? The thing that's so deeply admirable about Greta Thunberg is that she possesses this remarkable ability to make people 3 times her age psychotically, violently mad. And it's largely because of an unwavering commitment to saving this planet and the people on it. Spotted Greta Thunberg on an El Al flight home. Enjoy the service and please do come back. Holy fuck, 300,000 likes on this. Jesus Christ. Like watching Piers Morgan frothing at the mouth, insulting this 22-year-old is an amazing spectacle that lays bare how deeply unstable her adversaries are mentally and morally. You rarely see a 22-year-old driving people into an anger-fueled frenzy like this, only because she was a part of a humanitarian effort to deliver aid to a starving population. Greta Thunberg should thank Israel for intercepting her Gaza selfie ship. Greta Thunberg's pathetic Gaza voyage. Piers Morgan, who now claims to be pro-Palestine, also had some words to say